Welcome to the VET S.O.S. Veteran Educational Resources Spotlight. And remember, don't drown in the sea of transition. Grab the VET S.O.S. Lifeline. Today, we are sitting down with Stephan Murphy, Director of the Military and Veteran Resource Center at Georgetown University. Stephan served as the main staff liaison for Georgetown University's 3 ROTC detachments, as well as the main student services point of contact for veterans, current service members, military spouses, and children. I wish I could read today. Additionally, Stephan oversees the MAVRC admission liaison mission for both military-affiliated undergraduates and graduate students. Stephan graduated from the United States Military Academy at West Point in 2013. Served as an active duty Army field artillery officer until 2019, including 2 deployments to Afghanistan. Since 2019, Stephan's continued to serve in the Army Select Reserve in addition to his work at Georgetown. He comes to the hilltop after 3.5 years at the Catholic University of America, who we've had on the show. Fantastic program over there as well, where he served as the Director of Military and Veteran Student Services and oversaw 144% growth in ROTC program enrollment. Prior to his stint at Catholic University, Stephan completed his master's degree in public administration at Syracuse University. And while at Syracuse, he served as a graduate assistant to the Director of Graduate Admissions and Financial Aid at the Maxwell School of Citizenship and Public Affairs, where he served as the lead coordinator for veteran recruitment. Stephan also served as the academic support specialist in the Syracuse University Athletic Department, where he mentored 5 Orange athletes to the athletic director's honor roll. That's quite the resume there, Stephan. How you doing today?
Hey, Shawn, I am very excited to speak with you. Saw the interview you did with Curtis from Catholic and saw a bunch with Mike Brown, Villanova, and very excited to be here and very excited to talk to you about our great institution here at Georgetown.
Well, we're excited to have you on here. When we first met, I told you my dad was a Villanova grad, grew up watching Raleigh Massimino at Villanova coach against Georgetown and Thompson there, and the Twin Towers and all that stuff. So Georgetown's always had a special place in my heart, watching all that through the years. So just fantastic to sit down and talk with you. Very excited to get into it. So let's start transition. All right, so you're still in the Select Reserve. So how did that transition from active duty to reserve go?
Sure. So as you said in my intro, I did active duty for about 6 years. I had been in a military environment ever since I was 17 when I went to cadet basic training at West Point. And at the 6-year mark, I was, very curious about, I still wanted to serve and I still wanted to be in the Army, but I also wanted to see what life was like outside the active duty force. So as I was leaving active duty, part of our requirements is you meet with a reserve component, a career counselor. And I remember her name, Chief Arneson, over at the Fort Drum Transition Center. Had a great conversation with her, and it sounded like a great deal to do that while simultaneously getting my grad school knocked out. Initially, the game plan was, hey, I'm going to do this for a year and then, move on to the next chapter. But I found myself really looking forward to drill weekends. And now fast forward to 6 years later, got pinned major, and I'm in for the long haul now, for as long as they'll have me.
Nice. Yeah, it was one thing on active duty I could just never wrap my brain around. I couldn't imagine doing it part-time. Like to me, that just, I don't know, for my personality, I don't know that it would have worked, but the reserves is an amazing program between that and like the National Guard, especially during being here in Florida myself, the National Guard guys become crucial during hurricane season, doing some great things for the state. So, all right. So we read a little bit. Go ahead.
On that point, I always have a special, place in my heart here and a really renewed appreciation for our reserve component service members. I would say it's very much a mental challenge between tackling the responsibilities you have as an officer and NCO while also managing your civilian career. So it's a unique challenge, and those people do a lot of great work.
Oh yeah, it's we replaced a unit that was reserve when we went to Ramadi, and it was just interesting because there's a lot of first name calling going on. This isn't what we do. So it was interesting, but no, thank God we have it, right? They've played such a pivotal role in so much that we do, and it provides a great avenue for those who want to try something else and maybe not continue the active duty route. So in your bio, we talked a little bit about kind of how you got into it, but let's go a little deeper there. Like what really led you to want to be in higher ed and doing this type of work?
Well, I always say when people ask me this question, like, what got you interested? I would say that a lot of it comes from my family. So I can unironically say my first job in higher ed was in elementary school. My mom worked at Princeton University. And after school, obviously, go to her office before heading home. So I'd be the guy to deliver the mail. So that was my first job in a higher ed environment. And I really found it fascinating seeing the work that she did there. And then fast forward, to when I was in grad school in the reserves, had an assignment working in recruiting for West Point, in the Military Academy Liaison Officer program. So gained a little bit of admissions experience there. And then when I was at Syracuse, had those two really, in my opinion, formative grad assistant roles. One working for Christine Amelino, who was the director of admissions and financial aid at the Maxwell School. Really taught me the ins and outs of running a graduate admissions campaign strategy about campus physics, et cetera. And then the work at nights I was doing over at the athletic department in tutoring, I just found it to be really, um, you know, it was great work. I would come out from every session feeling like, man, I had a good day of work today. I was really enjoying this. And then when I was, hitting second semester grad school, was looking for jobs, knew I wanted to move to the DC area. And I saw the Catholic University of America had this role open for their first director of military veteran student services. Um, and I thought, why not? I thought I've had a decent set of experiences that could help me set up for success in this role. And then, again, eternally grateful to Katie Jennings, who is the assistant vice president for student affairs there, who hired me out of grad school to be a director. Katie's awesome. She's actually currently here at Georgetown now as our associate dean of students at the Capitol campus. But had 3.5 great years at Catholic. Just really enjoyed it. I had gone to West Point for undergrad, so it was kind of an atypical college experience compared to the normal university setup. So learning that, I just had a lot of great memories, a lot of great experiences. And then when Georgetown opened up in the late 2023, early 2024, time frame, applied and was fortunate enough to get selected. Was very excited. As a basketball fan, you talked about earlier about, the Georgetown Villanova rivalry. Me and my wife, who's a proud Villanova alum, we just been married for 2 weeks, and I told her, hey, I think we're heading to Georgetown. So we got through that, and now we're all really excited to be here at this great institution, and I thank God every day for opportunity to work here.
That's awesome. That is just unbelievable. And you made me laugh with your comment about an atypical education thing. That was something I used to tell West Pointers. Anytime I wanted
Yes.
to just jab them a little bit, I'd tell them about my fraternity days back in college. And we had very different college
There are no
experiences.
frats up in Highland Falls, for sure.
Oh man, I love it. All right, so tell us about the program you got going on here. Like, how many students, military connected students, do you guys have, and what kind of services do you have there on campus?
Sure. So right our numbers actually in preparation for this interview, I can tell you we've got 1,557 military connected students here at Georgetown, running the full gamut from our veterans, active duty service members, mil dependents, and ROTC cadets and midshipmen. That comprises about 8.2% of our total population
Wow.
here at
Okay.
Georgetown. The vast majority, about 83%, are at the graduate school level. But we've got a great program. Again, we actually grew our military connected population by 15% from last academic year to this year. And Georgetown University, we're blessed to have 2 university units dedicated to serving the military connected community, one of which is our military benefits office, which is ran by my teammate Rachel Cardwell. I think if she's not the best school certifying official in higher ed, she's definitely in the top 5. So that unit is fantastic, and we have a great relationship with them. But they handle the benefits and a lot of the back end tuition angle, and we work basically everything else. So we work at the full life cycle of the student experience, from talking to students on the admissions prospective student trail to being their student services hub here at Georgetown, and then helping them again in heading to the career search to check
Okay.
out steps after Georgetown.
Very nice. So do you guys have like dedicated space then for like a vet center or something like that?
We do. So we've got a little office suite here in the car barn, which is our program. We're co-located with the graduate school. Army ROTC is one floor above. It's a great spot. But it's a spot where we got a little coffee lounge, and then we've also got the bullpen. The bullpen is where I affectionately call the area where our grad students work. I've got a staff of a couple VA work study. I've got
Okay.
some DoD skill bridge interns, some undergrad
Nice.
student workers. And that's how we kind of tackle the various projects we work on. And then in addition to, and that's also by design. You might ask, like, well, why don't you have any additional professional staffers? At Georgetown, we're strong believers in the co-curricular education model. For me, I hit on earlier, I had a great experience as a grad assistant, and we try to empower our students as well to work in that. So a lot of our students are the ones who are doing the frontline interactions with prospective and current students. We plan a series of events. So we kind of have a dual track event strategy. So one, we have our community building ones. So we've got tailgates before the Georgetown football or lacrosse games, got happy hours, 5Ks, etc. But we also have professional development related events where we host a veteran employer chat series
Okay.
where we host companies that are interested in hiring our military connected population, and then have them on campus and talk to our vets. So, like for example, this year we've had Visa, we've had the Rand Corporation, Robinhood, we've had the Washington Nationals in the past, whole bunch of areas right there.
Very
We
nice.
also got some, yeah. So what else do we do? So that's our main angles right there. But our space is great. We also are a big believer here at Georgetown in data driven decision making. So that's again what I've got a really smart MBA student veteran who leads kind of our data analytics department. We
Nice.
track our student engagements, walk-ins, everything like that. So great
Okay.
spot, great operation value.
That's fantastic. Now, are you guys, is Georgetown a yellow ribbon school?
Yes, we do. So we are a proud member of proud participant in the Yellow Ribbon program. The vast majority of our programs do have 100% Yellow Ribbon match. However, I would suggest for any prospective applicants to reach out to us, and then we'll get you in touch with the Military Benefits Office to make sure that you have an accurate cost projection heading into Georgetown.
Okay. So what about community? Do you guys have any special things you do with like the community, the local community, getting the students out there involved or bringing, additional resources on campus for special events, that type of thing?
Sure. A great question, Shawn, and there's so many ways to answer that one. So within the Georgetown military community, we've got like 5 different student orgs. So for example, we've got a Student Veterans of America chapter. We started that back up last year. We've got our McDonough Military Association, which is like our student org for our MBA vets. We've got the Military Law Society for the law students. And obviously we've got the GUAFA student org, which is our ROTC more focused student org. So that's kind of the hub of where we base all of our support aspects out of. Here at Georgetown, again, for those who are curious about our program, highly recommend check out our Instagram, which is at georgetown.mavrc, MAVRC. So you can look at our, the highlights of events that we've posted. And then also our LinkedIn, you can see our page there. But overall, we partner with a lot of DC organizations as well. So, for example, we've got a great relationship with the Washington Nationals. They have
Nice.
a program called Base Hit where they actually invite service members, not only just from Georgetown, but from the National Capital Region out over to Nats Park, do hit work out there.
Nice.
We've got a great relationship with our ROTC detachments. So yeah, overall, very, very bought in. That 8% number of saying our military connected population is 8% of the total Georgetown population. That's kind of atypical, I found, and it's really cool about how much the university and the community has embraced us.
That's fantastic. So I got to ask you, it's just me and you here, nobody's
Sure.
watching or anything.
You and the camera.
Yeah,
So
just me and you. What I don't know if you came up with the acronym Maverick, but when you first said it, did you put on some shades? Were you looking at yourself in the mirror? Did you get that whole Tom Cruise, Top Gun thing going, or just coincidence?
I wish, but no, I can't take credit for that one. So I was looking at the acronym Military Veterans Resource Center. That was one of my predecessors who came up with it. And it's kind of once you hit that double meaning of, oh yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can't take credit for that one, but it is a great move by my predecessors.
But did you ever put on the sunglasses when you said it?
I wish. I said I'm an Army guy. I don't have the cool enough hair to fit that. But if I get any naval aviators on staff as a GA, that'll be probably a good reel for our social media. Make sure
Uh,
to tag you in it.
I'll tell yeah, absolutely. I'll tell you what, Army aviators do it too. My first unit was an Apache unit, and
Mhm.
yeah, some of those guys thought they were Maverick. But all love to them, man. The Apache's a bad vehicle, man. So, all right, well, we're getting down to the end here, Stephen. I really thank you for the information you've given us so far. What I'd like to end with is, give us 2 to 3, specific reasons. Why should people choose Georgetown? Why should our veteran and military connected students choose Georgetown?
Sure. So the first piece I would say is that if you're a student interested in Georgetown, I would say that the main kind of, if I had to give you the elevator pitch, one is at Georgetown, we really pride ourselves on elite academics. So when you're heading into that next stage of your career, I'm a true believer in that saying that iron sharpens iron. You know, whether you're heading into the medical field, the law field, anything government or government adjacent, Georgetown is going to prepare you. So when you're looking at schools, you know, that's the first piece is, you know, how are you going to get developed? Academically, I can tell you, you're going to come out of here really well trained. Washington, D.C. is a fantastic location and it'll be a really fun place to go to college. And then these opportunities that we have for networking and professional development are really unique to our relationships and the connections that we have. The other piece I talk about is that campus culture. You know, I've hit it again multiple times. 8% of our total enrollment here at Georgetown has some military affiliated connections. And that really stands unique, I would say, amongst the elite caliber institutions. This is a place that really cares and is dedicated to veteran success. I again got to give a shout out to our leadership here in the Division of Student Affairs, at Dr. Ellie Doherty, Dr. Erica Konder, and our Chief of Staff, Stephanie Lynch. That every meeting we have with them, they are asking, like, what can we do to support you, and what can we do to really make Georgetown, you know, military connected students succeed? And that institutional alignment is really there. It's an awesome school. Really would suggest checking our social medias, reach out to us, and be very excited to get in touch with you.
Outstanding. I absolutely love it. You know, Georgetown, like I said, always had a special place in my heart. In fact, I think I had a ball cap back in the day because I was a big fan of Twin Towers. I'm not going to lie. So great school to check out. A long history of great academics, you know, part of
Mhm.
sports history, you know, with some of the players that have gone through there. And, you know, now you're hearing about this great military program. Absolutely love it. I love the fact that you guys have dedicated social media, you know, so please, you know, if you're watching this, you're thinking about Georgetown, reach out to them, learn what they got to offer, and then also, you know, check out their social media, see what they're doing. So we want to thank you, Stephen, for joining us on VET S.O.S today. And on behalf of the entire VET S.O.S family, I'd like to thank everyone for joining us today. You can find VET S.O.S podcast on all your favorite podcast platforms, YouTube, all social media platforms. Make sure to subscribe and follow VET S.O.S so you don't miss a thing. And as always, remember, don't drown in the sea of transition. Grab the VET S.O.S Lifeline.